Hello, everyone. It's so great to see you. Happy New Year 2025. She's here. Can you believe? My name is Clarke Wolfe. This is the Sending the Wolf live stream. And thank you so much to the handful of folks who I see already in the chat and watching along on YouTube. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday and wonderful holiday season in general, and your year is off to a wonderful start. Wonderful all around. Hi, Calibre. Great to see you guys. As always, you're welcome to lurk, but please feel free to say hello in the comments. And hey, Alvi, good to see you. Happy New Year. Hey, Armada, great to see you. This is so fun. Hi, Xavier. Great to see you. Another Mr. Lizard. Hello. Great to see you. Hi, Mike. Welcome. Thanks for coming back, everyone. Hi, Steven. Good to see you. MK Songbird. Hi. Good to see you all. How was everyone's holiday? Did you all have a happy New Year's Eve? Thank you all for being patient. I took the day off on Monday because, hey, Gishgali, a girlfriend of mine said, you want to go to Palm Springs for the winter holiday for New Year's? And I was like, yeah, I do. So we took a very reasonably priced trip to Palm Springs and we drove out there on Monday. And I actually drove back this morning. And it was such a wonderful way to start off the year. No, Gishgali, Mike Joyce is in the chat, and Steve. Hi, Steve. But Mike the drummer, I don't see in the chat currently. But yeah, we went to Palm Springs, and we just ate and we relaxed by the pool. Even though the weather was not as like I thought it was going. The number said that it was felt like it was going to be a little chilly, but then once we got there, it was cold at night and cold in the morning, and then wonderfully, perfectly nice in the daytime. So it was a wonderful getaway. Hey, Mirror Domains. Hi, Andrew. Happy 2025. Hi, Ronan. Good to see you. And so, yeah, great way to start off the year. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that. Well, I just got back from the desert, so I'm feeling refreshed. And my friend and I, hey, Richard, happy 2025. Yeah, my friend and I we played it very low key and we just relaxed and we walked as much as we could around the little town. If you've ever been to Palm Springs, it's one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. Yes, Andrew says I'm planning on seeing Nosferatu next week. Who in the chat saw Nosferatu? I gotta tell you, the box office so I'm in Los Angeles right now, and I was looking for a screening to go with a friend, and so I was kind of like overview, like checking out a bunch of theaters around town, and pretty much like every theater in Los Angeles. I'm not in NoHo. In Los Angeles was like almost sold out. It was pretty incredible. So I love to see it because Nosferatu is a weird little movie and or a weird medium-sized movie, and I'm glad that so many people sought it out and spent the holiday break watching. And let's see, Ronan said, it's so good. Mike Joyce says, I loved Nosferatu. Armada saw it. Andrew Thomas watched Ghostbusters 2 on New Year's Eve because it's a New Year's movie. That's right. Yes, Ronan. Okay. Ronan says, I'm trying to find a screening on film. Well, guess what? I have a little story about that. Mirror Domain says, I liked Nosferatu, not jumping to revisit it. Alvi says, I saw it and really loved it. Mustache Feratu for the win. Yup. Eggers is planning on releasing an extended cut on Blu-ray. Fun. So here's my little Nosferatu story. I was lucky enough to be invited to the LA premiere. So that was awesome. Super fun. And I knew I think I mentioned this on one of our streams last week, but the Nosferatu premiere all year long Nosferatu was really my most anticipated movie of the year. I was so curious. I really, really wanted to get invited to the premiere. And so I did. So I knew what dress I was going to wear. It was like we were manifesting all of it. And so I purposely left my glasses at home. I don't need them like right now, but usually when I'm driving or if I'm watching a movie, it's best for me to have them. But I left my glasses at home, and like 20 minutes in to the screening. Hi, Gregory. Yes, we're here. I'm live every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Um, so about 20 minutes into the screening of Nosferatu at the LA premiere, I was like, Clarke, this is a vampire movie. Of course it's going to be dark. You should have brought your glasses. Okay. I know this is a long way to get to, but I promise there's this funny end to the story. So a friend of mine, who he and I always go see horror movies together. He, his husband, myself, we all wanted to go see Nosferatu. And again, it was pretty sold out Christmas week. So we found a screening, and it was on 35 millimeter. So I thought to myself, okay, great, I'll bring my glasses and I'm gonna see it on 35 millimeter. Y'all, I don't even want to say what theater it was, but the projection was so bad and so dark that even with my glasses on, having seen it like a week or two earlier with no glasses, I was like, I know for a fact that this is not what this movie is supposed to look like. I was so disappointed. So then on Sunday night, I wanted to go see it in IMAX because I was like, I have to see this movie. This one, the cinematography is so beautiful, and I'm like 0 for 2 on being able to see this thing. So I had a ticket to the IMAX screening in my local theater, but it was at 10 p.m. All of the IMAX screenings in LA were at 9:45 or 10 p.m. at night, and I was so frustrated. So I drank a bunch of coffee to get ready to stay up late to see Nosferatu in IMAX. And then I thought, well, I'm going to be driving out in the morning to Palm Springs. I probably should be responsible and try to go to sleep early. So I canceled my ticket. And guess what, y'all? The coffee worked, and I was up until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't see Nosferatu in IMAX. I didn't go to sleep early. What a mess. What a mess it was. I agree, Mike. 10 is too late to see a movie, especially Nosferatu, which is 2+ hours long. So anyway, this is to say, I still want to see it one more time with a good projection, like, and a good visual environment, because it's so visually rich, whether or not you enjoy the movie. So this is my tale. Ronan says I was supposed to be in LA for Christmas, was going to watch it on 35 millimeter at the New Bev. I will tell you this. I did not see it at the New Bev in 35. I saw it. I'll tell you where I saw it, actually. I saw it at the Chinese, the TCL Chinese in 35, and it was horrible. They should be ashamed of themselves. Either a bulb was out, something. It was a mess. So anyway, that was a bummer. Hi, Richard. Richard says, I hope you get to see it in the vision you want to see it in. Thank you. I do too. All right, y'all. So again, welcome to I watched my first episode of the old Sending the Wolf. Oh, what does that mean? Yeah, I know. I called them out, Ronan. I'm sorry, but TCL did a horrible job. Oh no, ZSH says the film shut down due to a power outage in less than 5 minutes after the beginning, after the theater I was in. Did they get it back up? Did you get to see it, ZSH? Or have you still not Ferratu seen it? Okay, so welcome again. As I mentioned last week, now we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. This is Sending the Wolf. This is my little live stream. It's going live twice a week. We're still figuring out the format, but it is Thursday, and Thursday is going to be our news day, which means that today we are going to preview all of the things that we are the most excited about in pop culture in 2025. I'm very, very excited to do this. There's a lot of good stuff to look forward to. Oh, fun. Watched the Chelsea Stardust episode. That's great, Gishgali. Yeah, it is not a horror podcast at all. For those of you who are curious, the premise of Sending the Wolf, the audio podcast, seasons 1 and 2, was my guest picked any movie off of any AFI list, and then we talk about it. And then at the end, they get to pick a movie that they would add to the list. So we did 65 or 60 episodes, and now here we are back in a live stream. I will tell you one little tease in honor of one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I started booking an interview with the writer, director, and producers. So three people, hopefully to come on Sending the Wolf. It does help that I'm friends with the writer and also kind of know the director, but it's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. So we have to get everything coordinated with the studio, but I think we are on track to do that. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just so you all know, I'm doing a little housekeeping up front, but I'm trying to book interviews and conversations and focus those on Mondays if I can, and then use Thursdays to do the news show. So Gish golly. When you compared Field of Dreams to The Shining, I almost had a heart attack, but you made it make sense. Thank you. You made it make sense. Thank you. I tried. I tried. Armada is watching A Simple Plan by Sam Raimi. Thoughts, started watching it last night. You know, I feel like I've seen a lot of Sam Raimi's movies, but I don't think I've ever seen A Simple Plan. But it's written by the Coen brothers, right? Isn't that right? I think so. Okay, yeah, 2025 is jam-packed, Richard. TV, film, books, so many cool things coming out. So I also asked for some of I asked on Instagram, uh, Blue Sky, X, and Threads, and Patreon. Give me some of your favorite, most anticipated things. So we'll go through those as well. But just as a reminder, housekeeping, Patreon, if you want to support the show, visit patreon.com/Clarke Wolfe. There's plenty of ways that you can get involved. You can also join as a free member. And since we've kicked off January, it means we're going to get some of those rewards going. So that should be really fun. Sam Levine and I are still crowdfunding for Fiends Giving. That's on Indiegogo. And I have a piece of personal plugging to do. Malum, my movie Malum, which came out in the the spring of 2023, directed by Anthony de Blasi, a loose reimagining of his film, The Last Shift, is now available to stream in the US on Shudder and AMC Plus. Woohoo! Thank you so much for joining, Mike. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. So yes, if you haven't seen Malum yet, it is an hour and a half of nightmare fuel and special effects by the Russells, who also did the special effects of Dave Bruckner's Hellraiser, among other things. Anthony, of course, the original co-writer director of The Last Shift. I loved making this movie. I loved working with Anthony. It was a really fun opportunity I auditioned for it. Anthony and I think knew of each other, but we didn't know each other, and we had never worked together before. And so I got the opportunity to audition, and I booked the part, which was so fun. And then we shot it in Louisville, which was also fun. And it was wild. It was such a good time. But the movie, I'm really proud of the movie. I'm really proud of my performance. It's a little scary. But I think you'll enjoy it. So yeah, Malum is streaming now in the US on Shudder and AMC Plus. And thanks for checking out Tenants, Mike. That's awesome. And thank you, Richard, for the congrats. It's not written by the Coen brothers, but it is a spiritual Coen brothers movie. That's so interesting, Gishgali. I wonder what I'm thinking about. Who knows? But anyway. And Mirror Domain says, did you like the new Hellraiser? I did like the new Hellraiser. I did. Although I did like it. It's funny. I'll do another little plug. So Anthony and I were guests on the Screen Drafts podcast when Malum was coming out. I loved going on Clay and Ryan's show. It's always so much fun. But our topic when Anthony and I were on was cults, movies with cults in them. And so Anthony and I, it's not just horror. Anthony and I kind of went back and forth. That was a lot of fun. But one movie that we both really, really loved, and I kind of felt when I rewatched it for the podcast, was kind of like a spiritual, reimagining of Hellraiser, was Mandy. I don't know if y'all have seen Mandy, but I dug it. Hey, Oscar, great to see you. Blood Simple. That's exactly what I'm thinking of, Armada. You read my mind. Very good job. Thank you. Hi, Jim. Great to see you. So yes, but Mandy is one of my faves, and I didn't actually love it when I saw it in the theater. I liked it, but then when I rewatched it for the podcast, I was like, "Whoa, this is great!" And I'm so happy I'm watching this. And this was before Dave made the Hellraiser movie. But I was like, wow, this is what I would imagine a new Hellraiser, like a new take on Hellraiser to be. I loved all the demons and the creatures. So yeah, Mandy is metal for sure. So says Ronan. Mike Joyce says Mandy was awesome. Richard says Mandy, is that the one with Nick Cage? Yep, that's right, Richard. Alvy says I love Mandy. I have a Mandy tattoo. Wow, that's awesome, Alvy. Apostle is a good cult movie. That's interesting, Mirror Domains. Andrew says The Faculty is an underrated favorite of mine. Awesome. So yeah, check out Malum if you can. And let me just triple check. What are some of my other show notes? One other thing, and this is, I suppose, not really like a I will report back, but I am going to see Seven in IMAX tomorrow night. So this is not a sponsored post. This is just me being a nerd. Seven is being released this weekend in IMAX in honor of the sort of 4K restoration. I just read this really interesting article with David Fincher, this interview where he was talking about restoring the 1995 print and how they use technology to sort of sharpen things up and just the whole process of getting into that 8K restoration. It was really, really interesting. So if you haven't checked it out already, he had this great interview in Entertainment Weekly that is worth a read. But I will report back on Monday my thoughts about the seeing Seven in IMAX. For those of you who maybe didn't watch my show Wolf's Call on AMC or on Twitch on Fear HQ, we did a deep dive into Seven, and oh my god, it is just one of my favorite movies. It is so well done. It is so well told. The acting is great. Obviously the script was just like it slapped you in the face with that ending. So yeah, I can't wait to see it in IMAX. And don't worry, I am going to bring my glasses so I can see everything. Ronan says Mandy and Pig is a hell of a Nick Cage double feature. Man, nobody has to twist my arm to watch Nick Cage do anything. You all know that I love Nick Cage. I've always been team Nick Cage. I think he's one of the best actors working today. I do not mean that ironically. I think he is an incredible actor. So no one needs to tell me twice to watch a Nick Cage movie. Mirror says, some theaters are doing a Fincher month. I'd like to see Panic Room. Ooh, well, I love that. Hey, Sean Quinn, great to see you. Ronan says, I haven't read the interview, but I hope Mindhunter gets a physical release. Oh my gosh. Ronan, truly, truly. I know Gishgali, and I will watch Pig. I want to watch Pig. It was on my list that year of things to watch. And as we discussed last time, I'm behind on so many things, but I'm doing my best. Maybe one of the things we could do on the Patreon is have like a Nick Cage month or something, or we could have like an assigned movie club or something, and we could go down the filmography of an actor or a director or something like that. MK Songbird says, kind of surprised Fincher is really doing a US Squid Game series. Say more, MK Songbird. I don't know much about that. Tell me more. Andrew Thomas says Nick Cage was a great Dracula in Renfield. I love Renfield. MK Songbird says Fincher basically said a physical release of Mindhunter is not going to happen. Rats. That's too bad. Hey, Sally. Still working, but we're happy to have you here as well. CSH says they saw The Last Shift and they liked it. Very curious to see how Malum and how they compare contrast. Yeah, well, the setup is basically the same, but the way Anthony sort of described it is like an Evil Dead 2 thing. Like he said that, at first when the opportunity came up to like reimagine The Last Shift, it was like, all right, do I really want to do this again? But then once he started writing, and I think, fortunately for me, one of my characters is one of the biggest new additions to the script is the idea that like we get to know the cult a little bit better in the movie Malum. We understand a little bit more of their mythology. We understand a little bit more of them. And so my character, Dorothea, is one of the most devout members of the John Malum cult, or the cult of the flock, I suppose. So really, really fun. Let me know what you think. I loved working with Anthony. One of my goals this year is to become, I think I said this, but I'll say it again. One of my goals is to become famous enough to get this script that Anthony and his wife Natalie wrote greenlit. And I get to star in it because I love it. It's so good and really creepy. And man, that would just be so fun. Is Jughead a horror film you've ever seen? No, Armada, I haven't seen that. Richard says, I wish David Fincher didn't get the shaft by the studios when he was doing Alien 3. Yeah, me too. But it made him the filmmaker he is today. Sean says, you are so good in Malum. Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Okay, I think we've gone over all of the housekeeping. Oh, wait, one more thing. I forgot. So I have like some good news. Yeah, good golly, I haven't watched Malum yet because Clarke is so scary in the trailer. Yeah, don't make me give you my icy stare like that. That's my angry Dorothea face. Dorothea. Anyway, I have and excited to see a shining example. Yes, I am so hopeful that in the next couple of weeks I'm going to have news about a shining example. I'm kind of waiting until offices open back up on Monday before I start doing the circle back around. I might even give it another week just because everyone will be inundated. But I think that there's going to be a way for you to see a shining example sooner rather than later. But my last little bit of housekeeping before we get into your picks and for things you're most excited for 2025 and mine as well, is I'm moving. So, and the reason I bring this up, first of all, I've moved so much over the last couple of years. It's been like such a traumatic experience, but the good news is I'm in a building that I love now, and I am just moving across the hall. So that's great. But I bring this up because, y'all have been very patient as I sort of get all of this kind of back off the ground. Obviously, I don't have like the best background going on right now. But the good news is that the new unit that I am moving into will have a designated workspace and streaming space, hopefully a podcast space too. So this is to say that the look of the show is going to change a little bit over the next couple of weeks, especially as we sort of get everything kind of underway, and try to grow the show, and try to book guests and figure out really what the best format is and all of that. But as of now, streams will continue, but the look of everything might start to be a little different. But that said, I am super excited about it. And I think it's going to be such an awesome change. And I think the quality of the show is going to improve. And yeah, it's going to be great. So I'm very excited. So that's my last little bit of news. Let's see. Armada says, "Did you see Red Rooms? Going to check out Malum very soon." Armada, I haven't seen Red Rooms, but Sam Zimmerman over there at Shudder, when I saw him when I was in New York back in September, he was like, "This is my favorite movie of the year. You have to go see it. It's going to be great." And or it's awesome. And so then, of course, now it is coming to Shudder finally. So in the States, at least this month. So I will watch it for sure and report back. Thanks, Sean Quinn. I appreciate the kind words. ZSH says, "I saw a shining example in NYC and you, but you didn't see me. You were very busy during the screening." Oh, ZSH, I remember you saying that you were going to come, and then I remembered you saying that you came after the fact, and then I didn't get to say hello, and I felt so bad about that. But thank you so much for coming out and watching and attending the Soho International Film Festival and watching a shining example. I really, really appreciate that support, and I hope you enjoyed it. Oscar says, "I've done that type of move within the building, and it's a good opportunity for constructive change." Thank you so much, Oscar. I appreciate that. Gishgali says, "Does Fear HQ have any ownership of a shining example?" AMC has some ownership of a shining example. Any hints on where it might be? And also, The Shining celebrates its 45th anniversary this year. Wouldn't it be such a great time for a Shining example to get onto a streaming service? I feel like that could be really great. Yeah, so wink. That's what we're trying to figure out. So we'll get there. MK Songbird said the release of Red Room seems very convoluted. Finally coming to Shudder on January 14th, though. Liked the movie. Yeah, I don't know what they were. I don't know what they were planning with the release, but it was a bit of a weird, like a slow, kind of limited rollout for sure. MK Songbird. Sean says became a fan from Talking Dead. Oh, thanks, Sean. I really appreciate that. I loved being a guest on Talking Dead. It was such like a full circle moment, especially because I really built my hosting career at Nerdist, which of course Chris Hardwick was the founder of. And so to then be sitting in the chair in the live show, not once but twice, and then virtually a third time, was just such an awesome opportunity and such a great full circle moment. And Chris was very generous every time I was on the show. He was so nice. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Wolf Status. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Gishgali. Exactly. Exactly. Andrew says, wow, The Shining turning 45. I should watch it again on either Blu-ray or digital. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. It's a movie that, as you guys know, I charged my little side lights and then they all died. Wah, wah. It's a movie that you guys, if you've followed me for a while, you know that I don't actually love The Shining. But now, as I've sort of like studied it and deconstructed it and really kind of understood it for what it is, what I feel like it is, I like it more and more as time goes on. Sometimes this is going to sound so weird, but it's become a bit of a comfort movie. Like just put it on in the background, which is so strange. But also, to be fair, The Shining is kind of vibes. Like it's like, there's a story, but it's vibe based. But I do want to reread the book this year. I want to reread The Shining. Anyway, Andrew Thomas says R.I.P. Shelley Duvall. Indeed. Gishgali says I rewatched Doctor Sleep again last week. I loved it the first time, but it gets better and better every time. Yeah, Mike is he's a really solid filmmaker. I'm really curious. Actually, you know what? Let's add that to my little list of anticipated movies. Life of Chuck. I mean, it won the audience award. Oops, I'm like bouncing my computer. Sorry, everyone. These are the types of things that are not going to happen when I have a designated streaming space. Yeah, didn't Life of Chuck win the audience award at TIFF? And then we didn't have any rewards, or excuse me, awards conversation. But I'm very curious. The Pulse watch party was great. Oh, thanks, Sean. I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Sam and I, yeah, we're crowdfunding Fiendsgiving through January, maybe mid to late January, and we do have another live stream plan coming up. Another thing I thought could be really fun to do here on Sending the Wolf on the Monday show is have filmmakers on, and we kind of live stream, kind of like we did Pulse, and we watch like some of their movie or one of their movies, and we could sort of talk through it, or we kind of I interview them while we watch the movie, but we'll see. Let's see. Mike says Dr. Sleep prefers Dr. Sleep to The Shining. Is The Shining a trilogy? The Shining is not a trilogy. Right now, it is only 2 parts. Life of Chuck is up there for me. Plus, I need to see his Dark Tower adaptation ASAP. Yeah, I agree. I'm really curious about that. Oh, really, Mike Joyce? Life of Chuck sounds interesting. A bunch of people have it on their most anticipated of the year list. Yeah, for sure. Andrew Thomas says, I do like the Shining miniseries with Steven Weber as Jack Torrance. Yeah, I love Steven Weber. I'm a big Steven Weber fan myself. Okay, y'all. Yeah, Mara Domain says, I'd watch another story with Abra. It's interesting. Like, I understand. This is just my opinion as a fan. I don't know what Mike's rules, or if there were any, or what he had to accomplish in with adapting Dr. Sleep, because of course, the visuals and the story included in Stanley Kubrick's movie are so different. Well, the story rather is so different than Stephen King's book. So Mike having to adapt Stephen King's book Doctor Sleep, but also have it kind of make sense within the visual world of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining was just such an incredible feat of filmmaking that it was so impressive. Um, and yeah, I just but to your point about Abra, for those of you who don't know, Abra Stone is sort of the main in the book Dr. Sleep. I would argue Abra is the main character, but in the movie I would argue that Danny is the main character. But either way, Abra has the shine and or the shining, and she it's kind of like she's kind of like an X-Men, really. But anyway, I would love more from Abra as well. My secret, like, feeling on Doctor Sleep, I love the director's cut that it's just a little bit more, but it feels like it's just enough to, like, make it really, really, sing really special. But my hot take is that I can't believe HBO just didn't at that time, or Warner Brothers didn't just do a mini series. Like, limited series were so in at that time and becoming more and more popular. And I just wish that they would have let Doctor Sleep be like an 8 episode series, but say la vie. And of course, HBO did the limited series The Outsider, and then they chose not to renew it. And I thought that was such a miss. And now look who's the biggest star in the world, Cynthia Erivo, playing Holly in that on The Outsider. Like, just so silly. Such silly decisions made over there at the old Warner Brothers HBO home. But what can you do? All right. Let's see. Oh, you be quiet, Gishgali. Sorry I missed some of your things um as I was ranting. Okay, Wolf Status says, so you don't include it. Wait, Wolf Status, can you rephrase? Because we might be talking about different things. Andrew Thomas gives some more Steven Weber love for Wings. Hope you have an amazing year. Thank you, Sean. Another Mr. Lizard says they need a Doctor Sleep prequel, more Rebecca Ferguson in a hat. Love Rose the Hat. Big fan. I also am making my way through what is it called? The summer before the prequel to The Shining. I don't want to shake the camera again, but I was reading that, and that's a lot of just the history of the Overlook Hotel. Really great stuff. Like, I do not understand why we do not have a prequel series from the Overlook, but again, what do I know? All right. I feel it completes The Shining. That's interesting. That's interesting, Wolf Status, and that's a fair comment, I suppose. Sean says they love Midnight Mass. Let's see. I enjoyed the It mini series. Yes. Holly Aber team up. Oh my gosh, Gishgali, for sure. All right, let's get into some of our most anticipated of the year. Let's do it. So I put out a call on social media. Yeah, Gishgali. He says a Overlook prequel series came very close to getting made a couple of years ago. I know. I'm sad it didn't actually happen. Okay, let's do some of your most anticipated uh movies of the year. Let's see what you all had to say. Okay, wait, sorry. Now I don't like that. Wait a minute. There we go. Let's pick out what we like. I think that's good. Or should we do no, we'll do this. And then gotta do oh no, go back. All my secrets. Okay. So I put out a call on social media asking you all what you are most excited about. And here is what you all said. So, Frankenstein from Del Toro and The Bride from Maggie Gyllenhaal looks cool. Okay, Mirror Domains, great point. When is Let's look it up. GD. Okay, sorry, hold on. I don't want to shake the camera. Let me turn my keyboard on. Boop. Sorry, just hit the camera again. Apologize, y'all. Um, Steve, there's you. Uh, Torn Hearts was great. Thank you, Sean. Okay. Guillermo, yes. Okay. Ronan says Guillermo del Toro, Frankenstein, Life of Chuck, Ballerina for films. Alvi says, I'm still sad that Friday the 13th series isn't coming out with Brian Fuller. I agree, Alvi. I think that that would have been a really awesome show. And what a disappointment that they all couldn't get their stuff together. There we go. That's probably better. Okay, Ballerina, Sean Quinn. Yeah, Ballerina sounds like it's going to be really popular. Okay, GDT Frankenstein. When is this coming out? What is the latest here? I know we saw this. What does Bloody Disgusting have to say? Can you see? Oh, you can't see what I see. That's actually kind of okay. All right, Frankenstein. What do we know? It's a Netflix. Great. I mean, that actually kind of makes me happy because I can't ever predict what people are going to go see in the theater, and I just really don't believe that people seeing things or not seeing things is like a commentary on the quality of the thing. And so yeah, this is to say that I don't know. I just I'm glad that it's Netflix and maybe we won't have this like oops um box office pressure. Okay, here we go. Share. Oh no. Ahead. There we go. Okay. Uh this is from Bloody Disgusting. Of course, this came out about a month ago. Oscar Isaac is our Dr. Frankenstein. There is a body. Now to me, this looks like concept art, but what do I know? So this is a preview in Vanity Fair. Gothic romance was born partially out of the fascination with ruins. Sometimes they're more beautiful than the building complete because it's the clash of creation and destruction. Can I just say that if you ever have the chance to listen to Guillermo del Toro talk about anything art related, visual art, books, movies, TV, just anything. He is a wealth of information and he is one of the most like beautiful, poignant speakers, but he also tells it like it is. Like he's very, he's not very accessible. But I remember I was at a screening where he was speaking. I want to say it was at LACMA here in Los Angeles many, many years ago. And I remember it was in advance of Crimson Peak. And I remember he said the words, emotion is the new punk. And it is burned into my brain forever. I mean, I think that is just the most wonderful quote I've ever heard. Emotion is the new punk. And he is, as you all know, my favorite living director. I I just would do anything to work with him as an actor, and I hope that that gets to happen one day. But I am so he. There's a book, like a classic, a big edition, special edition, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, book that came out a couple of years ago that he does the foreword to, and he's just so passionate about this story. He also, if you've ever seen Crimson Peak, you know that he bases the main character on Mary Shelley in many ways. She quotes Mary Shelley. So I adore Guillermo del Toro and I'm such a fan and I'm so excited. I can't wait for this movie to come out. The way Nosferatu was my most anticipated movie of 2024. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is my most anticipated movie of 2025. Okay, and then this says expect Frankenstein in 2025, and yes, it will have a theatrical run. Okay, great. Probably for awards contention is my guess. Jacob Elordi will be playing the monster, and Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz, and Oscar Isaac, and Ralph Ineson. Whoa, Ralph Ineson will make a quote pivotal cameo appearance in the film. Do you think that means he's playing Dr. Pretorius? What do you guys think? Who is Ralph Ineson playing that would be pivotal? Let's see. Wolf status. Uh, Gish Golly Crystal Lake is supposedly still getting made. Yep. He just finished Welcome to Derry. Yeah, I don't think that A24 is going to give up on that, but I am disappointed that Brian isn't getting to do it because I think that Brian had a real vision for that. And I think that's really too bad. Okay, everybody's kind of saying, everyone's kind of saying 2025 for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I did not watch Carry On yet with Jason Bateman, Sean Quinn. I have a big list. We talked about our favorites last week, and my need to watch list from 2024 is much longer than my did watch list. Okay, Oscar. Unsure if it will come out, but slated for April. Passion of the Christ sequel. Very curious. Me too. Curious is a great way to put it. Let's see. Oh, funny, another Mr. Lizard. I listened to him, Guillermo, on the Blade 2 DVD commentary. Hilarious. Yeah, I have no doubt. That is hilarious. Oscar says, Tron, is it Aries? Am I saying it right? Please correct me in the chat, is my most anticipated. Alvi says, so Frankenstein is getting a theatrical release because if Wolfman is a hit, I don't see why I can't get one. Yeah, we'll talk about the Wolfman in just a second because that's also at the top of my anticipated movies. But it does say that it's going to get a theatrical release. My guess is Netflix is giving a theatrical release so that Frankenstein can be a Oscar contender, but it will likely be a limited theatrical release and then stream on Netflix. But that's my guess. Who knows? It's probably, I mean, it's probably not done. So they, I'm sure, always can make changes if they want to. Ronan says, I want to be part of the junket for Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein and be at a Q&A between The Shape of Water, Pinocchio, Crimson Peak, and his Hellboy movies. I love Tio Guillermo. Yeah, me too. That's really funny, Gishgali. If you did, I don't remember that. Gishgali says, I think I mentioned this before, but I worked for Guillermo's publicist and had to sit in on all of his mimic interviews so that I could cut him off if he went too hard on Miramax. That's really, really funny. Armada says Nosferatu Connected Universe, also funny. Also Charles Dance is supposed to be in Del Toro's Frankenstein. Well, you know what's funny about that? Will that be the third thing that Dance and Innocent are in together, from Game of Thrones to The First Omen to Frankenstein? Oh no, I said Game of Thrones, but you know what? We're not on Twitch anymore, so hopefully our stream doesn't crash. Oh yeah, and Ralph was the doctor. Yes, that's right. Yeah, great scenes between him and Defoe. Okay, yeah, so Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride opens September 26th, and that is also interesting. Yeah, Sean Quinn brings up Sinners with Michael B. Jordan. Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot of, let's like kind of stay in this corner for a minute. Let's stay in Maggie Gyllenhaal. The Bride. Let's stay in like the classic monsters world for a second. Oh man, Christian Bale. I forgot that Christian Bale was the creature. Man, that's going to be so cool. I love Christian Bale. All this talk about remaking or whatever, Luca Guadagnino, who I love, making a American Psycho movie just like reminded me that how much I love Christian Bale. But this is a photo. Oh, he's got tattoos. Man, I really don't know what to think about this. I just really don't know what to think about this. The Bride is set in 1930s Chicago and puts the spin on iconic Frankenstein lore. Buckley's murdered young woman is revived, but her new life surprises her creators as she lusts for romance and ignites a radical social movement. She also teased a photo of Buckley's bride. Oh boy, let's see here. Oh yes, I remember this picture. 1930s Chicago. That's right. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. So Maggie's movie or Gyllenhaal's movie, The Bride. Um, okay. Yes. So let's see. Yeah, the cast is stacked, Mike. Jesse Buckley is awesome too. ZSH says, fun fact, Willem Dafoe was the first movie star I ever met. Brought him coffee and water once. Mike Joyce says, I'm cautiously optimistic about her movie. Yeah, me too. I mean, listen, we have no reason to think anything. Okay, the only hesitation that I would have, and Maggie Gyllenhaal, I think, is a fabulous filmmaker. I really liked The Lost Daughter. She's obviously been working in this business for a long time. She, I trust her as a filmmaker. My question is just always more about people like really being able to play in the genre sandbox. um Sometimes directors who don't really understand the genre or appreciate the genre, I think they make kind of weak sauce genre films. But sometimes people who do not like the genre or do not work in the genre, like let's say John Krasinski, they crush horror and scares and tension. So this is no disrespect at all to Maggie Gyllenhaal. I wonder, I'm curious. And of course, as we just discussed, I am probably more Guillermo del Toro is my favorite living director. But on top of that, as we mentioned, his understanding and appreciation and love for Mary Shelley and for Gothic horror and for Frankenstein's material in general is just so amazing or so deep. That wealth of knowledge and appreciation is so deep that I have less qualms about that. The one thing I will also say about the bride of it all is you know, I think that the TV show Penny Dreadful will forever in my heart be the greatest telling of the Bride of Frankenstein ever told. I just think that Billie Piper's performance was incredible. I think the writing staff and the way that she was incredible. The words she spoke and said were absolutely incredible. And I think that the world that Billie Piper's bride kind of lived in, she interacted with those characters just so well. So I don't know if I'll ever see anything better as far as the bride goes. But you know what an embarrassment of riches if we are. um okay. Oh yeah, and Alvi just said the exact same thing. I'm cautious about the bride, hopefully a pleasant surprise. Nothing can beat Penny Dreadful's The Bride though. Absolutely. Oh, ZSH says it was in the mid 90s. Yes, Sean, Mickey 17. We'll talk about that. Yeah, Jason. Jason says, I rewatched The Bride of Frankenstein recently and remembered it's a horror comedy more than I remember it being. Yeah, it has a really great sense of humor for sure. I always encourage people because the Universal monster Frankenstein or James Whale's Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein are so short. I always really encourage people to watch them sort of back to back as like one complete tale. But yeah, I don't disagree that I don't disagree that it is funny. It's definitely funny. Steve says Eva Green was so good in Penny Dreadful. That whole cast, it's so funny. I'm sure you guys saw me being salty on social media, but that last summer when Josh Hartnett was having a moment with like, Oppenheimer and Trap and all of this, and people are like, whoa, where's Josh Hartnett been? I'm like, y'all, Josh Hartnett has been here. He was the MVP of season one he was my like breakout star of season one of Penny Dreadful. The Hartnett stands have been here. The Renaissance has been going on. Okay. ZSH says, what about Lisa Frankenstein? I actually kind of loved it. Yeah, I think Lisa Frankenstein is really good, cute, gateway horror. It has, I didn't love Lisa Frankenstein, but I'm glad it exists. Ronan says, before Creature Commandos premiered, I saw The Bride of Frankenstein for the first time and it shook me. Beautiful, tragic film, a piece of art. I love Bride, Ronan. So 2 Frankenstein movies in a year. Hell yeah, that's right, Armada. That's so great. And then let's talk about the Wolfman or Wolfman, as it is being called. Wolf Man. Here we go. Um, so okay, actually, you know what? This is a great opportunity to look at one of your comments. And Steve, I'll come back to your question. You're The Last of Us for sure. I got a lot of great responses. So here we go. Um, as I mentioned on social media, I put out a call saying, okay, what are you most excited about in 2025? And got a lot of great answers. But I wanted to bring this one up because, of course, Lee Winnell's Wolfman is coming to theaters in just a couple of weeks in January. And so Rocket underscore 28 says, the Wolfman for sure. That January release date has me worried, though. Okay, y'all. So here is the thing about January now. And I want to I think that this is really kind of worth remembering. A couple of years ago, and some of y'all might even remember like which was it? Wait, was it Split? When did Split come? Was Split a January movie? Split 2016 release date. It was. Okay. So January has become a really great time to release horror movies. People are showing up for horror movies in January. Yes, there is a bit of, that old adage of like January, February is a dumping ground for movies. Not anymore. Not anymore. And I think if I had to argue, I mean, I guess we could look back at January 2016, but if I'm not mistaken, Split hit theaters January 20th, 2017, and it was a huge success. And I think that, and that, keep in mind, don't forget, was a wait, am I crazy? Wasn't Split a Blumhouse movie? Like what didn't Jason team up with Knight for that? Let's triple check. But yep, it was. Okay. So this is to say that yes, Blumhouse really figured out we can make bank if we start releasing quality horror movies in January, February. Alfie points out, wasn't Megan a January release? It sure was. Absolutely. And then Lee Winnell's The Invisible Man in February 2020. For me, I think that was the last movie I saw in the theater. But Lee's Invisible Man was a critical and commercial success. Of course, again, COVID kind of probably killed it, but or killed maybe some of the legs it could have had. But nonetheless, this is to say that for fans out there, January is not necessarily, or February is not necessarily a dumping ground anymore. So I would not, and especially for horror, keep that in mind. Don't forget that if you see a horror movie coming out in January, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's see. Ronan, what did Ronan say about Fantastic Fest? Well, yes, Ronan, but that was just an advanced screening. It also screened at the AFI festival, meaning Split, in November. So there were a couple of early screenings, but the wide release was January 2017. Okay. So this is to say that I am very, very excited for the Wolfman. Oh, Wolfman. Let's get back to Wolfman. Okay. Share this tab instead. Love this. I trust Lee implicitly. I am very curious about, like, after we did our stream last week, I did a little bit of a deep dive into because I had said a couple of writers were on the project, and then it turns out they were writers on the project on the first iteration of this version of the Wolfman, and then so they do technically get some credit, but nonetheless, and I think there was a misconception in the trailer about like what the creature preview actually looks like. But I'm just so stoked about this, and I also I this trailer played in front of Nosferatu when I saw it in the theater on last weekend, and it got a really good reaction. So I just hope people show up. As I've said before, I never understand what makes people want to show up in theaters. Sometimes it really surprises me even now. So who knows? But I'm very curious about Lee's take. That's for sure. And then of course we talked about we talked about the in our Q&A episode, our community Q&A episode a few weeks back, we or a week or so back, we talked about Atomic Monster and Blumhouse and their sort of takes on The Mummy with Lee Cronin or James's Creature from the Black Lagoon. So let's see how this goes, but I'm very very excited. DSH says cold, dark, and dead weather is perfect for horror movies. Having been born on January 21st, I know it very well. Hi, Fosa. Great to see you. Welcome. Thanks for being here. They say, looking forward to the Wolfman. Me too. This year marks the 15th anniversary of The Wolfman, starring Benicio del Toro and Emily Blunt. Wow, Steve, that's fascinating. I actually didn't remember that. What year is it? Wait, 2010. Wow, that was a long time ago. Hey Chris, good to see you. Yeah, so Chris brings up yeah, we've got so many good ones to talk about. Let's move on for sure. Let's see what else we got. Um, let's see, share this tab instead. Vincent Zawada says Mickey 17, Wolfman 28 years later, and Sinners are their most important or excuse me, most excited about movies of the year. Mickey 17, I saw this trailer for the first time, and Sean Quinn. A shining example is definitely my most anticipated. Thank you. I love that. Thank you, Fosa. Hi. Huge fan since AMC Independent. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Wow. That's a throwback. Alicia Malone is not on social media anymore, as far as I know. So I've lost touch with Alicia, but I think about her often, and I'm so glad she's on TCM. Great to have you here. Thank you for being here. Okay, so back to Vincent. Mickey 17. I saw this trailer before. What did I see? I saw I guess maybe it was Nosferatu. I guess that's the most. Wait, Sonic? No, I did see Sonic though. That was fun. Mickey 17 is a great trailer. I can't wait to see this movie. I love Robert Pattinson. I love the choices he's made over the last 10 years of his career. This is a really fun, high concept movie, and I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be great. So I'm excited about that one too. Wolfman, yes, just talked about it. 28 years later. I mean, we talked about it as well during our community chat episode a couple of weeks back. But I love the idea of this. I love that Nia DaCosta's movie has already been shot. I think this is going to be a trilogy, so I'm wondering. And chat, please correct me, like, or tell me if you know something that I don't. But I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be a trilogy, but they haven't announced who will direct the third installment. And so part of me wonders if it is going to be Alex Garland. But then we talked about this a little bit, and somebody in the chat was like, didn't Alex Garland say something like, I'm not directing anymore? Which I was like, I don't know. Alex Garland directing? Oops. What does this say? News. Oh no. Of course he's directing. Yeah, first trailer for Alex Garland's Warfare offers a harrowing look at the Iraq War. Oh, he co-directs. Wow. This is so interesting. Co-directs? Wait a minute. Yes, it will be a trilogy. Really looking forward to Coogler's. Oh yeah, Ryan Coogler. Oh, yes, for sure. Okay, wait. Let me go down this rabbit hole for a second. Garlic reteams with Ray Mendoza, who served as a military supervisor on the latest project. Okay, but co-directing? No, co-write. This is wrong. What? April 3rd IndieWire article. This Okay, this is also an IndieWire. Wait, can you see what I see? No. Share this tab instead. This is also an IndieWire article, and I am noticing reteams with Ray Mendoza as who served as military to co-write and direct his latest project. Yeah, co-write and direct, not co-direct. Alvi says no. Gishgali says no. He's co-directing. I believe he's co-directing. Okay, I believe you guys. IMDb. Wait, Warfare. This is so y'all. I try to be up with all the information, but sometimes Alex Garland. So, do we think that Alex Garland is going to direct the third installment of the 28 Years franchise? Do we think that that's a possibility? Upcoming Warfare. Let's see. Ooh, Ray Mendoza. Okay, so co-directing with Ray Mendoza and co-writing with Ray Mendoza. Cool. Not cool. Very sad subject matter, but let's see. I hope he returns to directing. Yes, Salvi. Has Clarke missed the Warfare controversy online? Yes. I have. I don't know. Did I just kick the hornet's nest here? We can stop talking about this. Stephen Keller, quote, reiterated that he will focus on screenwriting, but also is not retiring from directing altogether either. Great. Thank you, Stephen. And Mike says, I hope he returns to directing. What is Sinners? What is Sinners? Here it is. Because this was Sinners was Vincent Zawada's on their most anticipated list. Oh, Ryan Coogler. Okay, I don't know why I thought that this was called something else. Sorry, y'all. I'm crazy. I get it. Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, great, love it. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that a greater evil is waiting to welcome back. Ooh, that sounds really fun. I love Ryan Coogler. I think he is so freaking talented. And I hope he has a very, very long career and keeps just directing. Okay. He did say that he doesn't want to direct anymore, but I think that was something he said at a junket, so that could change in a second. Sure, that makes sense. Hey, Claiborne. I watched Civil War for the first time a couple days ago and really loved it. Kirsten Dunst and Kaylee Spaney were fantastic. You know, Claiborne, I still haven't seen Civil War, but I have seen, you know, Ex Machina, and I have seen Men, and I have seen a couple of I think I've seen some other things that Alex has directed. I'm just very curious. Let's see. Garland needs to give us a Dread 2. What did you think of Long Legs or Blink Twice? Blink Twice is on my list to watch to catch up, Ifosa, but I liked Long Legs, didn't love Long Legs. I had fun watching it though, but I will say, and you know, this is not, I've said this before, and you all know if you've been watching any of my streams for all these years, I am not a person who can get ahead of a movie. I'm not a person who's like, yep, I knew that was going to happen. I just get very absorbed in movies, and so I don't I kind of lose, I get myself lost in them, but that said, with Long Legs, I was ahead of it, and so it kind of was just like, well, but you know, I liked Nick Cage always, and Oz Perkins is just such an interesting filmmaker. As y'all know, if you watched the Fear HQ streams, loved Gretel and Hansel, love an 80-minute movie, love triangles, love Witches in the Forest. So yeah, I like Oz. I like Oz's work a lot. Oh, monkey, the monkey. Oh my gosh, y'all. Wait. That needs to go on my list. The monkey. What is this crazy movie going to be? Y'all, Annihilation. Thank you, Steve. That was the other one. Y'all, and Wicked. Wicked for good. Of course. We know. What the heck is the monkey going to be? What is this crazy movie going to be? I'm very excited about it. Oh, Michael B. Jordan vampire movie, Chris. Got it. And then Stephen Keller says, quote, I'm not planning to direct again in the foreseeable future. Interesting. Gishgali, I keep seeing movies that aren't that great and realize they would be better if they ended if they ended it like men. You know what? You've been coming here for a while. There's one thing you know about me. I love a big swing. I I love a big swing. The ending of Men was a very big swing. I was really I just have to say, for those of you who haven't seen Men, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but that trailer was so good. Those images and the premise, so good. Rory Kinnear playing every man in the town, brilliant. I was so with that movie, but oh boy, did it not stick the landing for me. Hmm. And that's what I will say. Yeah. Ephosis says, I had to watch it twice to really digest it. After the second rewatch, I'm more in line with your take. Okay. This is Long Legs. Some good scenes with Nick Cave. Whoops. That I would clip on YouTube for sure. We're talking about Long Legs, right? Efosa, just checking. Chris says Conjuring 4. Someone still needs to tell James Wan to take the to do the Crooked Man. You know what? You know, Chris, that I do. Any opportunity to tell James that he needs to make our Crooked Man movie, I take. Unfortunately, he has said to me, whenever I bring up the Crooked Man, he's like, I want that to happen too. It's not going to. Probably, of course. And I'm like, yeah, probably not. Yeah, mirror domains. That's exactly it. We can never have enough Rory Kinnears. Exactly. Yeah. Alvi, let's look those up in a second. Speaking of, I need to watch Children of Men again. Yeah, very different than Men, but fair, ZSH. Steven Soderbergh's movie Presence and Brian Bertino's Vicious. You know, Steven Soderbergh's movie had a trailer. It played, I think, before Nosferatu, and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool. I'm very excited about this." But yeah, this looks wild. The monkey looks wild. I can't wait to see it. I am very excited about whatever this nonsense is going to be. Like, just sign me right up. Let's look up Vicious. And also, did anybody make it? Ooh, this is a question. Y'all, did anybody make it to the Beyond Fest screening? I believe it was Beyond Fest screening of Companion. Has anyone talked to anybody who has seen Companion? I am very curious about that. All right, Vicious, written and directed by Brian Bertino. A woman a woman spends the night fighting for her existence as she slips down a rabbit hole contained inside a gift from a late night visitor. Ooh, what a great premise. So, y'all probably know that my favorite Brian Bertino movie, Brian Bertino, of course, wrote and directed The Strangers. But my favorite of his movies is a movie called The Monster. Very small, very thoughtful, mother-daughter, mother-daughter movie, and, I just love it. I love it. It is by far my favorite thing he's done. I didn't love Dark and the Wicked, which is on Shudder, which was his last movie. It didn't work for me. But this premise sounds awesome. I love the sound of that. Um, Has anyone seen The Watchers? Ifosa, I started it, actually. I started it and then I kind of Googled what was going on and I was like, I don't think I need to stick this one out. So I didn't. Um, but let's see. Wait. What did we just talk about? um, all right, presents. Okay, let's get back to what else are we excited about? Let me get to my list. Rufus is staring me down, y'all. We talked about 28 Years Later, talked about Life of Chuck. Oh, okay. The Watchers, the weird, unsatisfying Netflix show, or a different Watchers. Oh, I thought you were talking about The Watchers, the Dakota Fanning movie. But correct me if I'm wrong, Ifosa. Uh, Alvi, here we go. I'm excited for Heart Eyes, directed by Josh Rubin. This is absolutely on my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year list. Um, Full disclosure, written by my dear friend Michael Kennedy. And of course, Chris Landon, who is a doll, and Josh Rubin. I hosted a stream with Josh and Sam when we were doing, they were promoting Werewolves Within. We did a watch along, such a great movie. If you haven't seen Werewolves Within, just so funny, so well done. And Josh is a great actor. He's a really good director, and he's around our little spooky scene. So this is really exciting. And you know what, y'all? I have to say, I did as I was like compiling my list and I was going through some of the most anticipated movies of the year, it was pretty hard to find a movie that was not in a franchise, a sequel, something like that, a reboot. And so I hope that we all, as cinephiles and fans of film and television, can agree to support original movies in the theater. And Heart Eyes is one of them. This is an original slasher movie. This is an original slasher movie. And I hope that we can support it in the theater. Um, let's see. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be speaking to some Heart Eyes folks on Sending the Wolf. That is my hope here. Um ZSH says, yes, it seems potentially relevant here. Dev Patel directed a movie called Monkey Man. Yep, it came out last year. Didn't it have its, I think it had its world premiere at South by Southwest. And yeah, I've heard great things about it too. In fact, I saw somebody was doing their like year end sort of recap and said that they only discovered Monkey Man like towards the end of the year, and they were like, this was great. Why wasn't this, why didn't this stick around longer in theaters? And it's just such a state of where things are at. Alvi says, I loved Werewolves Within. It's hard to do a good werewolf movie, and it was so good. I agree. It's hard to do a good video game adaptation. It's hard to do a good horror comedy. I remember Josh saying that the movie Clue was a huge inspiration for him when he was making Werewolves Within, and I think that that's very obvious in the best way. And same with and also just a shout out to Michaela Watkins, because anytime she's on anything, I love it and I'm very happy about it. Yes, The Gorge. Okay, Alvi, let's look up The Gorge. This premise I think is fascinating. Oh yeah, and Scott has two movies coming out this year. The Gorge and Black Phone 2. So, this premise I find to be really interesting. Two highly trained operatives become close after being sent to protect opposite sides of a mysterious gorge. When an evil emerges, they must work together to survive what lies within. Great cast: Anya Taylor-Joy, Miles Teller, Sigourney Weaver. I know Sally. Sally says, "Wow, Monkey Man feels like it came out 5 years ago. What a weird year 2024 was, right?" Like crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh wow, I didn't realize The Gorge was coming out on Valentine's Day either. So that's early in the year. And then of course, Scott has The Black Phone 2 coming this summer. Now, y'all, I got to be honest with you. I have no idea what this movie could possibly be. If you saw the first one, what could this possibly be? And there's no plot on listed here, but God bless them. They feel like they can make another one, so okay. Let's see. All right, what else? Superman. Let's get into Superman. Gotta do it, of course. Oh, and Snow White. How does everybody feel about Snow White? Are we excited about that? Thunderbolts. I'm so curious about Thunderbolts, Chris. I am excited about that too. Yeah, MCU. The Fantastic Four, very excited for this one. I mean, just 100%. Really excited for this one. Captain America, new Captain America movie, Anthony Mackie, star of the show. We got that. We got Thunderbolts. It's a big year for Marvel, huh? Captain America Brave New World, there you go. Snow White. Yeah, I don't know. Literally another Mr. Lizard says, literally don't care one iota about any Disney live action remake. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if this is good. Oh, well, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but is this the last one that is sort of in production that is slated to come out? Yeah, I'm not really feeling Snow White, the trailer. I also it is no disrespect to anyone. Actually, I really do love the idea of Gal Gadot's Evil Queen. Kinda love that. So, I love her tone in the movie. I wanna see her in all her costumes. I think that's gonna be amazing. Sally says, "I could not be less interested in Snow White." Yeah, but the overall movie, I kinda just wanna see, like, Gal Gadot's, clips of her as the Evil Queen kinda strung all together. Oh, they're doing a live action of Lilo and Stitch. Oh, that's right, Nas, and you know what? They're also doing, Moana, right? I think that there's a Moana too. So yeah, they're not TOO, I mean, so they're not slowing down on that. Jurassic World Rebirth. Okay, I want to talk about this real fast because woof, I really did not like the first Jurassic World. I do want to watch the second Jurassic World because I love J.A. Bayona. I also have heard that, kind of know what the reveal is and it sounds insane. So that's kind of fun. Um, but I have a little bit of I don't know. I don't love Gareth Edwards movies. That is, a personal thing. That is personal preference. That is not like a commentary on him. He clearly is a very successful director. But I just don't know about this. The thing though that is getting me excited about it is this cast, Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey. I mean, listen, I Jonathan Bailey to me was one of the biggest breakout stars of Wicked because I don't watch Bridgerton. And so I kind of want him to be like do like I kind of want him to do anything. So I don't know. I don't know what this is all about. I don't know how I feel. Did you see The Creator? No, I didn't. That I stopped. I stopped watching I just stopped watching his movies to be honest because they're not for me. I don't like any of them. So no, I didn't see The Creator. Chris says, OMG, I felt like I was on the moon being the only one who didn't like the Jurassic World. Everyone in my friend group loves it, but not me. Really? No, I did not like I did not like it. And so it definitely turned me off from all of those movies going forward. The Ballerina, that one is going to be really exciting. Uh, uh, the third act wasn't great. I see that, Steve. Okay, let me look at the rest of my list. So, what do we think about the ballerina? Um, do we think that people are going to be still excited about this? Because I feel like this has been in the works and in talks for so long, and now it's finally coming. What do we think? An assassin trained in the tradition of the Rescaroma organization sets out to seek revenge after her father's death. Yeah, I don't know. Gishgali says Creator is not a good film, but incredible effects on a budget should be a huge wake up call for Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though with Gareth's movies has always been like, what he can do with a genre film on a small budget. And now we're doing but then Godzilla came around and I did not like I didn't like his Godzilla. I didn't like that you don't show me a Godzilla. I showed up to see a Godzilla. Where is Godzilla? Like I don't that's not my deal. And then I don't love, it's not for me. So we'll see. Ballerina, yep, directed by Len Wiseman. Though, Len has directed some really great TV, I have to say. There was a minute where Len was the kind of go-to TV guy. I know Underworld, he that is probably what he's best known for, but like, man, I dig his Sleepy Hollow. That's what I remember. Oh yeah, the pilot for Swamp Thing was good. Yeah, he's got some really good TV credits, that's for sure. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Um, oh, Gishgali says I really like Len's Die Hard movie. Um, Hi Lowell, thanks for popping in. Happy New Year. Yeah, Karate Kid Legends. Wow. Is that a movie that's coming out this year? Wow. This is wild. This feels like wow. I as I sit here reading. Sorry, I should be more active, but it's been so long since a Karate Kid movie came out, I feel. Um okay, let me go back to my notes. Let's see. We didn't talk about Superman yet. Oh, how about we do a little TV? Can we do a little TV? Can we talk a bit about TV? Speaking of, um, Alvi says, "Do we know if it connects to the Cobra Kai show?" And then Ifosa says takes place after Cobra Kai, I believe. So Cobra Kai is its final season this season, yeah. So that's kind of interesting. There's a light that is just shining right in my face. It's the sunshine. This is great. This is why I need a designated stage. Okay, loose connection to Cobra Kai. Great. All right, let's talk about TV. Severance. So, are y'all Severance fans? You Severance fans in the chat. And or season 2. Yes. Here's my take on Severance. I liked season 1. But I have to say that for me, it didn't really get going until the finale. Like, I felt like there was just so much that came together in the season 1 finale that could have been maybe more evenly dispersed throughout previous episodes. So I don't remember anything really. I remember the finale of Severance, but I don't remember really anything else. I guess you don't really need to. I'm watching Severance this weekend because of Apple TV being free. Another Mr. Lizard says, I don't know anyone who has Apple TV over here unless they get a new phone and a few months free. Efosa says, really enjoyed Severance. Felt like a long Black Mirror episode. Yep, for sure. Gishgali says, most exciting show about walking down hallways. Sally says, love Severance. Gishgali says, Severance should just be a movie. They are going to be spinning their wheels until the show is about to end. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, gosh, people just really loved it. But I guess maybe I felt like maybe people were doing most of the work like for the show. But who knows? If you guys don't mind, sorry, this is unprofessional, but you will notice that the sun is setting right in my face. So I'm actually going to go shut that curtain. Give me one moment. If I had ads, this would be such a great time for the ad to come on. Hello, I'm back. Sorry. Let's get me focused. Sorry about that, everyone. I just it was distracting me. And I did give Rufus is sitting in his own little chair. He's mad that I have made him sit quietly while I am doing this show. ZSH says all my friends love Severance, but I haven't actually seen it. Yeah, maybe binge season 1 and 2 together. I think that you can watch Severance season 1 kind of all in one go. Please chat, weigh in if you feel like if you feel like you like the show better and you think it should be more evenly spaced out, like chime in. But Mirror Domains. So Mirror Domains asks about Mayfair Witches. Season 2, is it on anyone's radar? It's definitely on mine. I really want the Anne Rice universe to work. I really, really want it to be successful. I did not like season 1 of Mayfair Witches, and so I am hopeful that maybe some things have been clarified and streamlined a little bit, because I think the thing that maybe didn't work for me with Mayfair Witches was that it was a lot of mythology, and as a result, very little character development, which I think was a drag, because I feel like Interview with the Vampire was kind of the opposite, where it was like, here's a vampire. You know what a vampire is? Great. Now it's all going to be relationships and character development, which I preferred. Um, so yes. The lighting is on point now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, Amra. Welcome. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're just talking about our most anticipated movies and TV shows coming up in 2025. The Last of Us, Ifosa says, let's talk about that. Let's talk about The Last of Us Season 2. How are you all feeling about The Last of Us? I liked The Last of Us. The acting is great, of course, but like I for me it and I will watch it for sure, but I felt like everything got wrapped up too fast. So it's kind of the opposite of how I felt about Severance. I felt like the last episode was just like way too condensed. Too much happened. I don't know. But I also don't really know the games. I know that fans are very excited about what is to come. In terms of like certain casting decisions, certain characters that are going to be showing up. But for you all in the chat, if The Last of Us is something that you're excited about, without it spoiling, I guess, the game, like, is there stuff in season 2 that has been announced that you all are looking forward to? Mirror Domain says, I liked The Last of Us, but based on the game, I don't know how audiences will deal with season 2. Okay. Ifosa says, I only played the first game, so this second season will be all new for me. Alvi says, I played The Last of Us Part 2, and this season should be really good. Okay. Gishgali's very excited to see how they do it. Okay. The Last of Us, the video game, is actually the last video game I played fully from beginning to end. Interesting. Yep, excited. Steve is excited about some casting. Hey, Richie, great to see you. Welcome. We're just talking about The Last of Us season 2. So here's my thing, chat. Again, we want to try to like keep spoilers to a minimum. Obviously, we don't know what changes the show is going to make versus the video game. But for those of you who know about the game and where you think season 2 is going, my deal, as you all know, a lot of you found me or know me from the Walking Dead Universe Twitch channel. And so you know that I am very familiar with The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead also had 12 seasons. It went on for many years, lots of spin-offs. But my thing with The Last of Us was, aside from the character moments, so of course, the Nick Offerman and oh my gosh, I see his face. White Lotus, great actor. I'm forgetting his name. But aside from their scene, of course, I love the character development between Pedro Pascal and his and oh god, I'm blanking on everybody's name. Hold on, let's scroll up. I gotta get a refresh here. Bella Ramsey. So aside from the character stuff, everything that happened in The Last of Us season 1 felt like something I have seen on The Walking Dead, if that makes sense. So what I'm hopeful for, actually, whether it's polarizing or not, kind of like we talked about, we love a big swing. Whether it's polarizing or not, I'm ready to see The Last of Us hopefully take some big swings. But if it's just going to be more like faction stuff, oh yeah, here's a group of like religious zealots who are dangerous and want to kill Bella Ramsey. Like, okay. Or here's the military people. We can't trust them. Okay, like I've seen all of this on The Walking Dead. So I don't know, chat, what do you think? let's see. Okay, Chris says The Last of Us 2 is going to be very divisive. They make a big, bold choice in the game. And Alvi says, I agree with Chris. It's going to be very divisive if the reception of the game could tell us anything. And then Mirror Domain says, is it wrong? I liked Fallout over The Last of Us. You're not the first person who has said that to either, Mirror Domains. I've heard that from friends before. Fallout was one too that I was just in a weird no, I not maybe, I was. I was in a weird mood at the beginning of the year last year, but I started Fallout again. I was kind of like, fine, I know what this is. Can't trust these people. Now we've got, evil factions. I want to see Walton Goggins, like what happens with him, all of that. And I want to stick with it. And I know it was some people's favorite show of the year, but for those of you who have watched all of Fallout, it's like I should stick with it, right? I don't know. And yes, Stranger Things. We had a really good somebody chimed in on Stranger Things here. Let's read their comment. Here we go. Nick Mitford. Nick, if you are in the chat, we are reading your comment here, chimed in on Instagram. Stranger Things season 5 for sure. And/or season 2, which I know you all have been talking about in the chat. Season 1 was the best thing Star Wars has done in a decade. Okay, so big Andor fan over here, which I support and am happy to hear that fans, because we talked a little bit in our community Q&A episode about like the trajectory of Star Wars and the Star Wars universe. So very curious, if you guys in the chat who are Star Wars fans are really happy with Andor. With respect to Stranger Things, I mean, I don't even do we know? Because they literally just wrapped like a couple of weeks ago. So how is this going to be ready? How will season 5 or part 2? Is that how we're doing this? Is it its own season? I don't know what. Let's see. But what are you all thinking is going to happen with Stranger Things season 5? Let's see. Ronan says The Last of Us is my favorite video game of all time. That show is beautiful and honored the story and connections of the characters. Y'all ain't ready for season 2. Okay, I bring it. Here we go. Ifosa says really wonder how much of a time jump they're going to do in Stranger Things. That's fair. CSH says, in a way, we're all sort of spoiled regarding zombie universe shows from the quality TWD delivered for so long. Let's see. Mirror Domain says, I think it comes in fall for Stranger Things, coming 2025. Sally says, personally, I don't believe Stranger Things will come out this year, but I'll take it. Yeah. Alvi says, I may be in the minority, but Stranger Things took too long. Yeah, okay, so like, here's a question to posit for you all. So Stranger Things, the last season, they broke it up because the last couple of each episode kind of felt like a movie, or it was long run times. Okay. The last couple of episodes, the special effects were not done. So they stopped, and then they released those last 3 or whatever it was, a couple of months or weeks after the first part of the season. And I have to tell you, for me, that really, really messed with my viewer experience, because when Vecna was introduced and, we see him sort of kill Chrissy in that opening scene of the last season, I was just like, holy cow, this rules. Like, this is awesome and scary and interesting. And as you all know, or some of you may not know, but I love Steve Harrington. And yet, I felt like, okay, it's all right if he has to die to protect the kids. And then sure enough, no, he's safe. And I think it was even Gayton who was like, yeah, the show's become too safe. There are no stakes. None of us, we're all too safe. And I was like, I think that's kind of true. But the first part of the last season, like, that worked so well for me. And then those last 2 or 3 episodes that they waited to release, they kind of just negated everything that had just happened for me, at least. Am I the only one? Tell me, please. Let's see. Mirror Domains. Okay, Mirror Domain says I have to bounce, but I'd like to shout out Knives Out 3 and Mortal Kombat 2. I was thinking about Mortal Kombat 2 the other day. Where is it? When is it coming out? Why have we heard nothing about it? I agree. Ronan says Andor is a gem. I'm going to Celebration in Japan. Wow. That's so cool, Ronan. Please report back. That sounds incredible. Hey, Alexander von Kaufman. Yes, we talked a bit about 28 years later. We were speculating if Alex Garland, despite saying he doesn't really want to focus on directing for a while, if he would direct the final installment of the 28 years trilogy, since Nia DaCosta has done the middle. So excited for 28 years later for sure. Who is Ephosa says Andor is the best adult themed Star Wars we've gotten from Disney. Yeah, Amra says, what's with these 3 years between TV seasons? I mean, it's really not Stranger Things' fault that the strikes, honestly, Stranger Things specifically, the strikes really, really crushed the momentum, and the speed. And of course, when you're shooting these episodes that are like movies, essentially, they've got a lot of production to do. And then there's so much post that they have to do. So I don't, Sally kind of alluded to it. I know that this teaser, these teasers are kind of saying, oh, yeah, it's coming out in 2025. But I don't know if the whole thing is going to be done by the end of the year, but we'll see. Let's see. Gishgali says Netflix has done that, split the seasons, I think, with Cobra Kai and Squid Game. So I would bet The Farm, they do it again with Stranger Things. Ugh, yeah. Alvy says, I agree, Clarke. The momentum was ruined with those later episodes released. Yeah, I really, man, for me, up until, I'll tell you this, and I'm not a Stranger Things apologist. I sincerely like the show, and I sincerely like every season of the show. They're different but similar. But to me, they all feel like they are the same universe. But of course, tonally, they're different, and like the themes are different. And so I love seasons 1, 2, and 3 for like very specific reasons. And when I was watching season 4 and I got through, part 1, I was like, this is unbelievable how this show has maintained the quality and the storytelling 4 seasons in a row. So much time has passed. The kids have grown, all of this stuff. And then those last couple of episodes came and it, again, I felt like it really just negated everything that had come in the season prior. And so it kind of, and Vecna didn't, I don't know, like I don't know. The last couple that they released separately, I just, I didn't love, did not love. I don't mind the break in Stranger Things, but those last episodes weren't that good. Yeah. Oh, Ifosa brings up Gen V. So yeah, we didn't talk about The Boys when we did our best of 2024 episode. And I had it, we as a chat, I feel like just had so much to talk about that I pretty much never really, I referred to my top 10 list, but I didn't really get into any like TV or periphery. But The Boys, I ended up liking season 4 a lot. But Gen V, I haven't started watching because I wasn't all in on The Boys when Gen V came out. So what are your thoughts? What are your feels on Gen V? Is it do you feel like it's a nice compliment? Oh my gosh. And then of course, what is his name? Jensen Ackles joining the cast of Gen V. Isn't that right? Sally says, I still haven't seen season 4 of The Boys. Should I catch up, friends? If you don't like The Boys, Sally, you're not going to magically start liking season 4. I know that's not what you said. I just I think a lot of people kind of checked out after season 3 when, unpopular opinions with Clarke Wolfe, season 3 of The Boys was actually my favorite. I know everybody felt like it got too dark and too crazy or whatever. I thought season 3, the comedy worked the best. about the stuff they did with the characters. Oh my gosh. And then you all, again, if you follow me on social media, you know how I feel about the Deep. I think Chase Crawford is doing some of the best comedy acting on television. Like he, but I know that everybody always wants to talk about Homelander and, you know, Carl Urban, rightfully so, great performances. But Chase Crawford to me is the MVP of that show. And so this is to say that one of the things that they started in season 4, I won't really like spoil it for you or get into it, but some of the choices that they make for the character of the Deep is like, or I'm loving. They're addressing that he is a bonehead and he's sick and he's a kind of a moron and he is just like this, you know, kind of, I don't know, puppy for Homelander. And that all kind of gets called out and brought to the surface. And now we're seeing what a person like the Deep, what happens to him when he starts to say, actually, no, I'm going to lash out. And I think it's really, really interesting. So, okay, Sally says, okay, I do love his character, so maybe I'll catch up sometime this year. ZSH says, LOL, he's so good. Yeah. Efosa says, season 4 was one of the best seasons yet to me. I am glad that season 5 will be the last. I feel like they will stick the landing. And then Chris brings up the Soldier Boy prequel show, which, yes, Chris, Jensen Ackles is quickly becoming one of my favorite people because I didn't watch Supernatural. I always knew who they were. I always knew who he was. I always knew who those characters were. But I just didn't. Oh, and then wait, I also, Jensen Ackles, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, IMDb, oh, is the lead of one of my favorite movies of all time. I just love My Bloody Valentine 3D. I love it so much, the 2009 version. He is so deadpan, so dry in this movie. What a gem. What a gem. So, yes is the answer, Chris. Soldier Boy show all day long. I am so here for it. Let's see. And Gishgali says the best reason to watch Gen V is an actress named Lizzie Broadway, one of the most startling debut performances I've seen in years. Amazing. That's actually really great to hear because I love some of these actors that they've found across all these seasons of The Boys. I think have just, I mean, what finds? Like they've just been so great. So any stuff like that, you know, sign me up. If Osa says completely agree with you, Clarke, about the Deep. Chris says, yes, My Bloody Valentine's 3D. Also, I'm very surprised you haven't seen Supernatural. Yeah, it was one of those shows that, like, I gotta be honest too, I was never really into I loved Smallville and I loved Buffy, but I didn't watch a ton of CW or WB, CW, and so on. And I think Supernatural kind of started when I was a little, not quite a teen, like, you know, a little aged out maybe. And then of course, when a show has been on for 10 or 12 seasons and it's 22 episode seasons, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't, there's no way I could catch up. Okay, but let's change topics just a minute. Another Mr. Lizard says Alien Earth. Aliens as a franchise has used up its last bit of goodwill from me. Will likely avoid unless it's the best reviewed thing of the decade. Hot take, another Mr. Lizard. Okay, I don't disagree, actually. But Noah Hawley. I mean, what? I gotta tell you, for me, I liked Fede's movie a lot. I liked Alien Romulus. I thought it was fun. I love Prometheus. I do not like Alien Covenant. I'm like 50-50 on this franchise, right? That said, Noah Hawley, I think FX have just given him the keys to the castle because he has shown, to me at least as a fan, that if he's tackling a show or some subject matter, it's because he is all in and has a very clear vision and story to tell, whether that's Fargo or Legion. And so the idea that Alien is something that spoke to him is really promising to me. And so I will definitely watch Alien Earth, but mostly because of Noah Hawley's involvement, not because it is an Alien legacy or franchise show. Does that make sense, y'all? Let me know. Superman trailer in the style of Smallville. Oh, funny, Alyssa. Okay, and Alvi brings up one of my one of my other most anticipated movies of the year. So we'll pivot back to movies. Predator. Predator. Here we go. Predator. What's it called? Oh, Badlands. Here we go. One of my favorite takes that I tell everyone about is my take on Ash's misogyny. Well, it's true, Gishgali. Um, yeah, Ash is, and to quote the documentary, such a dick. Okay, so, but thank you, Gishgali. I am glad that that resonated with you. I hope, I think that also kind of comes up a little bit in Alien Romulus, but nonetheless. Let's kind of wind down with Predator Badlands. I gotta tell you guys, didn't they shoot, I think they shot 2 movies, or they already shot the movie, or did they shoot 2 Predator movies and Dan directed both of them? Uh, I love what is going on over there at 20th. Just with these legacy, we talked about it a little bit with our best of, and y'all know that The First Omen, I think, was like my number 2 movie of the year. I just loved The First Omen. I loved Prey. Just, I mean, I think it is such a great movie. Okay, just Predator Badlands is listed as upcoming. Excellent. So whatever Dan Trachtenberg, and I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. So whatever Dan wants to do, like, sign me up. And these really interesting takes and these really cool understandings of the characters of the predators is just like, for me, that is what is so cool about all of this. Like, when I saw Prey, so you guys know, some of you joined me on the Twitch channel for a deep dive into Predator. And we did all this research, and John McTiernan was talking about, like, yeah, this is an anti-war movie, and like, and I wanted it to be a horror movie, and like, it's very anti-gun, and like, the point here is, that the predator, like, these guys have all these weapons, and then, the predator, you defeat the predator without the guns, like, that's the whole deal. And I really felt like, for the first time in the Predator franchise, Dan and the team behind Prey understood what made the first Predator movie, and those final couple of moments between Arnold and the Predator, actually resonate. Like, that, to me, it was about honor. It was about being a warrior. It was about, being evenly matched. And that is what is so cool about Predators to me. Yes, and the creature design is awesome, of course. So Prey knocked my socks off. I loved how their technology was never quite even. Gosh, you know what? We should do Prey on one of our what's its, because we didn't do Prey on Fear HQ's Wolf Call. Maybe we should look into doing that as a team, like a watch along, a Prey watch along with lots of research. Ooh, how fun. Okay, got it, Gishgali. Gishgali says Badlands is live action, so that's the one with Elle Fanning. And then the other Predator movie is animated. Wow. Wow. Another Mr. Lizard says they never should have allowed the alien ship dropping him off at the start of the original. Efosa says Prey was a game changer for me. If they can only do another Terminator. Oh my gosh. You know what, Efosa? Okay. I think I've mentioned I'll have Hector on the show. That would be really fun, actually. So Hector Navarro and I are good buddies, and we do movie clubs. So, another one for this year, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. So I called Hector in 2023 and I said, I've never seen a Fast and Furious. Will you watch the series with me leading up to Fast X? So we did once a week for 10 weeks leading up to Fast X. We watched everything in the order that they were released. Then we started making our way, and Hector is a big 3D enthusiast. So then we started making our way through like Wizard of Oz movies. So we watched the post-convert 3D of the 1939 Judy Garland movie, which by the way is awesome. And then we watched Return to Oz, and we watched Oz the Great and Powerful in 3D, which is not awesome. And then I saw The Wiz on stage and all of this. Okay, great. This brings me to Terminator. This brings me to the Terminator, and so we started watching James Cameron movies. Like we are trying to watch things. Yes, so we started with, oh gosh, so we went down the Alien rabbit hole. We did Prometheus in 3D. I don't think Covenant was in 3D. I can't remember. Alien, no. Aliens, Romulus, we did all those. Then we started going down the Terminator rabbit hole. So we started Terminator. We're going to get together and do Terminator 2. Okay. This is to say, we were having the exact same conversation, Ifosa, which is in the style of a low budget, good, like in the original 1980s Terminator. That is what you want. That is how I think you get back into the Terminator franchise, if you have to get into the franchise. Just like it was 3D, another Mr. Lizard. I saw The Wiz on stage, so 3D. Yes, Ronan, Hector Navarro. So anyway, this is to say that I totally agree. I think that like a stripped down, entry into the Terminator is exactly what it needs to be if you're going to go down that road. But I also have to say, to who was it in the chat? Amra, is Hollywood out of ideas? Everything is a sequel or prequel. Amra, I am 1000% with you. When I was making this list, it was about anticipated films. It was really hard to find something that was not a reboot, a sequel, a franchise. And here's the thing, like, and to your point, Amra, dear Hollywood, it's me, Clarke. You can't keep there. You got to, in order to create a franchise, you have to greenlight new movies. You can't make a sequel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd think that in order to keep their sequel, prequel, requel thing going, franchise thing going, they would greenlight more movies so that they can have more sequels, prequels, requels. Anyway, Lisai. So, oh, and then Alvi says, with respect to the Predator, will we see the Predator win? That's a great question. That's a really great question. I don't know. I am, let's see, Ifosa about the, Ronan says Hector is my paisano. Yep, great. And then Ifosa says, yes, I think that the low budget Terminator would resonate with the audience. ZSH says, T2 was my favorite movie as a child. I saw it about 30 times before I turned 13. I really like T2 as well. I like them both for different reasons. I like Terminator and Terminator 2 for very different reasons because I think they're very different movies that set out do very different things. But Mission Impossible. So this brings me back to Hector. So now that it's 2025, guess what our new mission is? Pun intended. I've never seen all of the Mission Impossible movies. I have seen Mission Impossible 1. I've seen Mission Impossible 2. I've seen Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And I think I've seen half of the Henry Cavill. Is that Ghost Protocol? Anyway, this is to say, we're going to watch the whole franchise start to finish so that we can get to Final Reckoning. And Ifosa says, could it be Cruise's last Mission Impossible movie? I think it could. Okay, Fallout is Cavill. Yeah. So I've seen 3 in their entirety. 1, 2, and Ghost Protocol. And I really love Rebecca Ferguson in Ghost Protocol. I really liked Ghost Protocol, actually. Fallout, I didn't feel well, and so I actually left the screening because I wasn't feeling well. But I did get to see Henry Cavill, cock his arms, which was amazing. And you know how I feel about Mustache Gate, just the greatest story to ever come out of pop culture. Um, let's see. Alvi says, I haven't seen all of the Mission Impossible movies either, so I'd like to binge then before this last one. Yeah. And also, speaking of Tom Cruise, um, isn't, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he have a big new franchise coming that is not Mission Impossible? Let's see. I thought I was just reading about a new franchise that he was about to start up. Okay, Final Reckoning, yes. Inaratu, great. Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat, yeah. Maybe, what am I thinking of? Is it Broadsword? I was just reading about something. Yeah, think it was this one. Anyway, this is to say, I think he's about to do some other stuff. So, Tom Cruise, that is. Let's see. Lahauser, I'm sorry if I said that name wrong. LA, La. Tell me how to say your name, and I want to get it right. Thank you for being here. Everyone says MI2 is the worst, but it's one of my faves. Listen, for the record, with MI2, John Woo, he makes entertaining movies. Can we just say that John Woo makes entertaining movies? So no shade or shame to you for enjoying Mission Impossible 2 because it's a John Woo movie. What's not to like? Also, it gave us Hugh Jackman as Logan in the X-Men because Dougray Scott was supposed to be Logan. And then he had to go make Mission Impossible. So then Hugh Grant got, or Hugh Grant, that would be funny. Then Hugh Jackman got the job. And then, yes, Alvi, let's end it with this. Wait, is the It spin-off show coming out this year? It sure is. My name is how Jim Carrey says loser in Ace Ventura. Loser. Amazing. Thank you for explaining it to me because now I will know. That's hilarious. Thank you for being here. And that's great. Loser. With it, welcome to Derry. I I think this is good. I think we should end it with this. I have no idea what to think about this because, as you all know, I love a Stephen King prequel series. The beauty of The Shining or It or The Stand is there is lore and legacy for days. One of my favorite parts of It, the novel, is all of the history of Derry. And so I, in theory, really want to see this movie, or excuse me, this show. However, and also, I love Bill Skarsgård. I love him, and I love him as Pennywise. I think it is an inspired performance. I think he is so talented. Also, this is kind of a stupid poster. What is this poster? What is this poster supposed to be? Kids on bikes? We're selling kids on bikes? Where's Pennywise? Is this a real poster? That's wild. Whatever. That's a very am I missing something in this poster? Ooh, that key art is not good. So I love Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. I'm so happy he's back. You know what's gonna make it Welcome to Derry work for me is if we get some flashbacks. I don't need, and this is the other thing. I'm very nervous because a couple of the press releases have been like, oh yeah, and we're gonna examine the origins of Pennywise. What? I really hope that means we're gonna see Pennywise's beginnings in Derry, like with the kind of colony, the Roanoke inspired colony of missing people, the story about that they shot the scene with Pennywise stealing a baby from the early settlers and then they didn't use it in the movie. Are we finally going to get to see that? I love the stuff that happens in the saloon, like all of this history inside it with old stories of Pennywise and Derry. Great. Like I want to see that, but I fear, I don't know. I fear that that's not what we're going to get. And so I don't know. But Alvi, I agree with you. No matter what the quality, I'm just excited to see more Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise. Yep, totally agree. I love Bill in this part, and I'm glad he's back. So there you have it. All right, y'all. I think that's a really good preview of 2025. And we didn't even get to I mean, let me look at my notes. We didn't even talk about Interview with the Vampire season 3, where we get into Lestat, as in I'm a rock star, and the book, The Vampire Lestat. Oh boy. We didn't even get into, oh gosh. We didn't even get into White Lotus. I am so excited for White Lotus. Superman. We talked about Superman a lot so far on the show. Yellow Jacket season 3. Like, can't wait for that. That's Valentine's Day. New show with Sterling K. Brown and Dan Fogelman. Y'all know I love This Is Us and Sterling K. Brown. I love. The Studio with Seth Rogen. I really want to see that. I'll tell you that that I auditioned for 2 shows and I'm really excited to come out. I didn't get. Grosse Pointe Garden Society, one of the best pilots I've read in a long time. Really enjoyed it. It was super fun. And Chad Powers, I got to audition for Chad Powers. That was fun. I didn't get it, but that's okay. Maybe next time. Anyway, there is, oh, and Daredevil. Yes, y'all had been mentioning Daredevil. That is also one of my more anticipated shows. I really love the return to Daredevil, and I want to see how that's handled. Amra says, Clarke just wants to see the kids murdered. Yeah. No, I don't. So we've got a great year ahead of us for pop culture. I cannot wait to see more. It's going to be lots of fun. So as always, thank you all so much for joining us today. So happy that we are doing this together. If you haven't already, subscribed to the channel. Sending the Wolf goes live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Mondays and Thursdays. And as always, you can support the Patreon if you want to. You can join as a free member, of course. And you can follow me on social. I post a lot of updates there. Also call for opinions and your thoughts and feedback. But working on booking some interviews and conversations. That's great. That's going to be a lot of fun. And watch-alongs and so on. Yeah, and if you go on over to the Patreon, we do movie watch-alongs together. I think that's like the $5 tier. There's a Wolf's Call tier at $20 where I will do a deep dive once a month into a movie of your choice. Doesn't have to be horror. So check it out. There's a lot of good stuff and a lot of good ways over there to support. But thank you for just being here in general and chiming in the chat. I appreciate it. Everybody have a fabulous day. Where's the link for patrons? Oops, I'm typing on the computer again. So patreon.com/ClarkeWolf is the Patreon. And it's the same as it was in the before times. And yeah, bunch of different tiers there and options and so on. And again, you can join for free if you want to. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. This was great. I will see you again on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And hopefully I will start to be moving into my new studio space so that maybe by the end of the week next week, I'll have like a nice little setup. Fingers crossed. All right, y'all have a great day. Happy New Year, and I'll see you soon. Bye.